Welcome to Local SEO Unlocked, your ultimate guide for mastering local search marketing. Dive deep into the dynamic and ever-changing world of search. Whether you're aiming to boost visibility or engage local customers, this podcast is your pathway to not just being seen, but becoming a local favorite. Now, here's your host, Christian Hustle.
Hey hustlers, so good to see you guys again. I'm back from my month-long vacation and it was phenomenal. But I bring several stories that I want to share with you, specifically talking about how I use ChatGPT to plan my travel. Yeah, the whole itinerary was ChatGPT and it worked beautifully after several tweaks, which is what I want to talk to you about. And then give you some stories, some pictures and things like that, just so that you can see some of the things that I scratch off my dream list. Like honestly, no kidding. We went to Japan, South Korea, and Vietnam. And especially in Japan, in Tokyo, I mean, I knocked out so many things from my bucket list that I want to tell you about, all right? Let's jump into it. Hey, hustlers, and welcome to Local SEO Unlocked podcast. My name is Christian Hustle, and it's a pleasure to have you here. If you're new to the show, welcome. If you're coming back, always great to have you back. And I have a really great story. We're not digging very deep into SEO today, but we are talking about a little bit more of the everyday, what a consumer lives with all the technology that we talk to on a daily basis. And by the way, if you're new to the channel, we talk all about how to get your hustle going, how we help local businesses grow at our Woburn Marketing, my digital marketing agency. So if that's something that you're looking for, consider subscribing. So let's start with how this trip started, because this started obviously with a lot of planning, picking out the cities. For this trip, it was my wife, my two stepsons, and myself. And it was almost like each of us picked a country. My wife being Vietnamese, she loves to go to Vietnam. I love Vietnam, so I'm never going to say no to that, right? So that was an easy one. It's like, yeah, we're going back to Vietnam. My stepsons wanted to really go to South Korea. They all love K-pop. They love Korean skincare, things of that nature. I wasn't too crazy about Korea, so I was like, I need something on my dream list, on my bucket list. That was Japan. I mean, so many things in Japan that I wanted to do, see, experience, and I did. So anyway, I jump into ChatGPT because typically last year that I went to Asia or a different country, even Europe, I mean, I spent hours of research on YouTube, which is great. You get the experience from YouTubers, travel YouTubers telling you, the do's, the don'ts, where to go, where to stay. It's all great. I still did a little bit of that this time, but definitely a lot less. And I relied a lot more on ChatGPT. So this whole planning started with me, super basic and dumb prompt on ChatGPT that said, can you make me an itinerary for Tokyo from July 15 to 20? Now, this was me just testing the waters. It's like, is this something that ChatGPT can do? It did, right? It immediately gave me like morning, afternoon, evening breakdowns of things to do by day. And so I said, okay, well, this is doable. So let's make that prompt better. So first I started like, let's work on the formatting. I don't want bullets, right? But this is where it started to get interesting. It's like, okay, this is looking good. Like you're giving me really good stuff. And then I said, I actually land on the 14th. So remove the arrival day because I know that's a useless day. And then remove the 21st because that's also the departure day that I know there's not going to be a lot of things to do or have an agenda for. I also said my Airbnb is located in Shinjuku City near the station. Can you revise and optimize based on these locations? And then ChatGPT did. So it literally gave me, no bullets, the formatting that I wanted. And then it optimized the agenda or the things to do or where to stay or what to eat based on the location or the neighborhood that it was recommending. So I said, okay, well, this is good. But you're giving me just the generic experience that every tourist is probably finding. I want you to personalize this itinerary because in my case, in Japan, right, we're talking about Japan, I want to do retro video game shopping. I want to go look at, Nintendo 64, Game Boy, Super Nintendo games. I want to see that. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos about it. It seems to be the thing. I want to experience that. I also want to eat Wagyu steak. I also want to experience the automotive scene because I'm a big car guy and obviously big fan of Tokyo Drift movie. I want to experience that. Can I do that? So I kept giving it back and forth, back and forth. So anyway, long story short, we ended up with a really good itinerary that I put on my notes on my phone. And when we were on the trip, we weren't really following it to the T, because I like to be organized but not too crazy, right? Like, we're not gonna be on a timeline, we're not gonna be by hour, what are we gonna do? I had it on paragraphs by day. So I said, this day, Monday we're gonna go to this section over here of the city, and these are the possible things that we can do. On Tuesday, this is the neighborhood that we're going to. These are all the things around the neighborhood that we can do. And it worked great. It worked fantastic. The boys were super excited because we always knew what was around, what were the must-do things. And it was not too stressful to be always rushing against time or things like that. Anyway, I did the same thing for South Korea. And then not so much for Vietnam, because we know Vietnam pretty well by now. But South Korea was very similar, right? It was just like, give me the neighborhoods, help me organize them, and then go from there. When we were in Japan, Google Maps works beautifully, by the way, which for some reason, I don't know why, a lot of YouTube channels, a lot of YouTube videos I watched, they talked about Google Maps not working at all or not very accurate in Japan. Which it was tremendously accurate. I mean, I was riding up and down the trains and subways using Google Maps instructions, no problem, never got lost. When we went to South Korea, it was a whole different story. There, Google Maps is just almost useless, right? Because it cannot really track where you are located at the time. It cannot give you directions on car, only walking, and it cannot give you train directions either. So, I mean, it's a big city, right? We went to Seoul, and you're not going to walk much because places are very far. So I ended up, from YouTube videos, I ended up downloading Kakao Maps, or Kakao. Basically, Kakao is like everything Korea. So I had Kakao Taxi, I had the map app, and multiple like that, right? So the map was, to begin with, it was in Korean, right? It was like hard to use because a lot of the stuff was in Korean. The address, if you enter the address in English, it wouldn't work. So I would have to translate the address and then plug it in or copy paste the Korean version of the address. It was challenging. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It was very challenging to move around. Even with my itinerary, it was still challenging because I just couldn't use Google Maps. And I realized I am so used to Google Maps. I mean, just think about it. What do you do without Google Maps for a week? It's just how long we were in South Korea. And it was just a challenge, man. Like, it really was. I mean, just missing those reviews, missing seeing the, what is this about? All the information that Google Business Profile provides. I saw that, firsthand as a customer, and it was just shocking. Seeing how in Japan it helped me. It helped us pick things and along this nature. And in South Korea, it was a big challenge. In Vietnam, no problem. Google Maps works tremendously well, so love it there. I tend to leave some English reviews there for fellow Americans or English speakers that come to the country. But anyway, I don't want to turn this video or this channel into a travel blog. But my experience using ChatGPT to travel, to use it for planning your itinerary, it was fantastic. It did the job. It did what I wanted to do. It gave me all the must-dos. It helped me find the things that I wanted to. Even, the car scene in Tokyo, like, I legitimately crashed into, or not crashed a car, but I crashed into a car meet where we were racing on the streets, cars everywhere. We were riding up and down the highways, speeding, or, I wasn't in the US, so I guess I could say it. And, I tried all the food that I wanted. I mean, everything that I needed it was on my itinerary. I didn't plan it by the hour, so it was just, a little bit more casual, more enjoyable. But long story short, ChatGPT works tremendously well. Now, when I thought about using this back in May 2024, I thought about using Google AI Overviews, because that was like, when Google AI Overviews was announced, that was a big thing, right? It's like, you're going to be able to plan a trip. It's going to do it for you. So I was excited. I was like, well, I have Asia trip coming up. Might as well, talk about it, document my experience. Well, guess what? Like, for 6 weeks, I tried to use it. It just wouldn't do it. It was giving me normal Google results. And I'm like, we're used to that. I don't need that. So that's why this was about ChatGPT and not AI Overviews. I actually haven't tried it as of today recording to know if it's changed in the last 8 weeks. But at the time when I started doing my research and my planning, AI Overviews was just useless. It was not doing exactly what it was supposed to, and it was just literally giving me some basic search results that I could have done, anybody could have done without AI Overviews. So if you made it this far into the video, I'm gonna reward you with some clips and pictures and footage from my trip if you're interested in seeing what we did. So hope you enjoy that, but thank you so much for tuning in into this special episode, sharing a little bit more of my personal life, personal stories that I love to share. Let me know in the comments if it's something that you want to hear a little bit more. Maybe not on a daily or every episode, but we'll find a way to connect the dots, right? So again, if you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button right now, smash the like button. That's gonna really help us spread this video out, let other people see it as well. And with that, thank you so much for watching. Keep hustling.
Thanks for tuning in to Local SEO Unlocked. For more resources to help you succeed in local search marketing, visit us at woobound.com/podcast. Don't miss out on becoming the local favorite. Join us next time for more insights and strategies. Until then, keep hustling.